had like 2 nails broke off, my edges weren't laid, I had bags under my eyes, my face was dry. Let me stop putting all my business out. Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl emilyj, and today I'll be doing a video on how I view my Stanford admissions file. So before we get started, I ask that you please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications if you haven't, and also follow me on Instagram. But without further ado, let's get into it, period. So I view my Stanford admissions file, and who child, it was a mess. Like, Stanford is like real secretive about their admissions process. So because of like COVID and stuff like that, the way that it works is basically we schedule an appointment, a reviewer or like the person who's handling the files. They actually work in the student services center. It's not the admissions office, it's someone in the student services center. Basically, like, you have 20 minutes and they'll read you your Stanford admissions file. It's very hard to get access to the appointments too. Like for me, we have an on-campus, it's like an on-the-low on-campus newspaper called the FOHO. And basically, like, they were talking about the Stanford admissions files, and that's how I got access to like the link to sign up and view my admissions file. But outside that, it's really hard to get access and to actually view, to like schedule an appointment, because you don't know where to go. If I got to the session, like I was on Zoom, the person who was like reading my file, her camera was off. So yeah, I don't think that she was really that pressed. And you know, she like gave me the guidelines, like you can't have technology, you can't record, you can't do none of that. But before I could get started, they also made you like, we have to show a government issued ID or like a Stanford ID. So basically, like, I can't find my Stanford ID. Like, when I left campus, everything I had with me that came from Stanford, my dorm key, my PO box key, my Stanford card, like all that, I don't know where it's at. And I lost my license, so I had to use like my government ID, and they made me like hold it up to the camera like this, and I'm all in the camera trying to show it to her. And then my nail was broke off, so it's like, it just, girl, I was looking raunchy on that little video. I had like 2 nails broke off, and I was trying to hide it behind the ID. So I was like, and she was like, a little closer, and I'm like, Lord, all my nail broke off, my edges weren't laid, I had bags under my eyes, my face was dry. I looked cheesy on that little Zoom call. I was like, oh my God, let me stop putting all my business out. Moving into like the actual session. So for me, I had a pen and paper, and I was trying to write all that stuff down, and y'all, I was tired, like, oh my God. So the first thing that she read to me was like my school information. So basically, like, y'all know, from Louisiana, you know, they had my class rank, my government name, my GPA, and they had my ACT scores. So one thing that I caught to is that they didn't have my updated ACT score, so they didn't have like my science score. Based off of like, I think I had maybe like a 22 in science at the time and a 24 in math, and I still had my 33 in English and my 34 in English and my 33 in reading. So that was something that was interesting to me. Like, they didn't have my updated science score. Once I get into my files, you'll see how admission officers responded to my test scores, and how, you know, I could definitely see like a kind of hesitancy to admit me because of like, look at this girl test scores, but they didn't have my updated scores. So that might have influenced them, like, after they reviewed my file, I'm not sure. So after, like, they had my major, and I put undecided, but I think like the way that admissions work, they could kind of read your app and tell like what major you're going to go into, because I don't recall putting the major on that application. So that was like super interesting to me. Like, they were able to pinpoint my major just off of my supplements, and I was like, okay, Stanford. Okay, so moving into Reader 1. So basically, they rate you on test, your high school record, the amount of support that you had on your essay, on your application. So I'm thinking like, whether I have like, I guess like if you have a college access program supporting you, if you have a teacher, different things like that. Your extracurriculars, and your SPIV, which is what I think is like your intellectual vitality, and then they give you overall like eval score. So my testing, so I think it's rated on the scale of, I've heard different things. I've heard it's rated on the scale of 1 to 5. I've also heard it's rated on the scale of 1 to 6, so I'm not sure, but I think it's a scale of 1 to 6. On my test, I got a 4. My high school record was a 4. My support was a 3. My extracurriculars was a 2. And my intellectual vitality was a 3. And my overall eval score was a 2-. So the comments from Reader 1 is, the strength of the application is Emily's context. She's excelled in school, but her testing is a bit lower than what we usually see. First ranked in class, but 43% of students attend college. Leader scholar who was active and engaged in school and community life. Emily provides thoughtful experiences and learning to embrace her identity. POE, distance travel, excellent specific context. They also predicted I would major in sociology, as I mentioned before. So what I found for like Reader 1 is they noted that my test scores were significantly lower than others, as I mentioned before at the beginning. They viewed my admissions file like February 19th, 2019, and I didn't get my scores back until like after. So I reported it as soon as I got it, but I'm pretty sure like at the time that they read my file, they didn't have access to those scores. Just had like my Common App and my lower test scores, so it's like they were able to make a decision based off that. But he noticed that my Common App had a lot of context, so my attention to detail, really being intentional about what I'm writing and like how I'm really crafting my story, like that really resonated with them. In addition, they took into account like being ranked first in my class, where 43% of students attend college. So basically, college admission counselors, they get access to your school profile, and from there they're able to look at like how many students attend a 4-year college, how many students attend a 2-year college, how many students matriculate to college after graduation, and like basically the courses and the load that your school has to offer. So for them, they took into account that like, you know, most kids in my class, like, you know, roughly just below half of us even go to college, and that was something that resonated with them. Like, and being a leader scholar who was active, and you know, and also too being engaged in like my school and community life. So that goes back to like my extracurriculars. That really helped me. And I didn't have the best ACT scores. I didn't have like, you know, the highest, you know, like I took all the high school AP classes, just about all the high school AP classes that my school had to offer. And you know, I did well in them. But it's like the fact that I was engaged in school and activism and social justice and like, you know, in extracurriculars, like that really stood out to them. So to learning like to embrace my identity, like at Stanford, a big part of our campus life and like the student experience, like from what I've experienced, like really finding ways to like embrace yourself and your identity and your experiences, and like, you know, coming to find yourself on campus. And for them, like that was something that was really interesting to them, to know like I was already doing like work internally on finding myself and embracing my identities and my blackness. So that really resonated with them. Moving on to Reader 2. For my testing, they gave me a 4. For my high school record, they gave me a 4. In support, they gave me a 3. In extracurriculars, they gave me a 2. And for my intellectual vitality, they gave me a 3. And my overall evaluation was a 2-. So basically, Reader 2 scored me the exact same as Reader 1. So the comments were, I agree with Reader 1 that Emily's application is compelling. While noting excellent context, distance traveled, it's what she describes an excitement for learning that makes me so excited to move her forward. Moving into her writing skills, they show depth of thinking beyond the test and what her high school record might indicate. Emily is academically sound and will grow at Stanford University. So Reader 2 saved me. I don't know who Reader 2 is, but shout out to Reader 2. Like, I think Reader 1, they were able to know like my intellectual vitality and like my writing. I think that my writing skills really helped me in getting admitted to Stanford. And I think that once again goes to like how are you crafting your Common App essays and like really being intentional about what you're writing and like what you're putting out there. Like check out my previous video to see my essays and like how I really wrote like my Common App and stuff like that. But it's like what really grew them is like my excitement for learning. They also said moving into her writing skills, they show depth of thinking beyond what tests in her high school record might indicate. So as I mentioned before, like my school, you know, we're an amazing school, but we're also in Louisiana. So like the amount of AP classes and stuff that we have to offer are like super limited. So it's like, you know, trying to take an advantage of all the AP classes while also being kind of limited in the amount of options available. And also too, my test scores were like, they were really low. Like the test scores matter, but not as much as if can you showcase other skills and other passions and your levels of thinking in your essays, and that could like really, you know, like benefit the Stanford community and that are like super important and valuable. I just want to thank y'all for all y'all support in my videos, and once again, it's just been so amazing to see just how many people are watching and engaging, and you know, I'm just always so grateful for y'all and for, you know, taking the time to watch my videos, and I'm just so appreciative. As I wrap up, please don't hesitate to reach out if you need like me to review your Common App essays, for me to look at your extracurricular descriptions or anything like that and give you feedback. I'm always available and always looking for ways to help and support y'all. Please feel free to DM me on Instagram, or you can email me at emilyj@gmail.com. So that's all that I have for y'all today. Please be on the lookout for the next video. And without further ado, thank y'all so much.